This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website and be in the room where it happens.
The room is the internet.
Alexander, his family is second or third priority.
He cares about them less than his own legacy.
He succumbed to the seduction because he was thinking of himself.
I am not throwing away my shot!
The fact that she extends forgiveness and grace is a gift. It is not something he deserves, nor is it something he's entitled to. You can see that he knows that, but it's being extended anyway.
This is why Broadway stars are more talented than anyone on earth.
We're doing a live episode, July 30th through August 1st in the Pacific Northwest, and August 6th through 8th in the Upper Midwest.
Life lesson. If you're leaning in to kiss someone and it's interrupted, just say, I'll be with you in a second.
There'll be a Q&A, there'll be merch, there will be VIP tickets where you get to meet and greet us.
What advice do you have for just people who are trying to find their thing?
In the immortal words of Shakira, try everything.
Tickets on sale. Come see us because we want to see you.
Watch movies!
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, professional filmmaker, and it's quiet uptown.
It is quiet uptown, and we are going through the unimaginable.
We really are. This is going to be, I'm going to be a mess.
This is an episode I've wanted to do for years. We're finally doing it. We're talking about Hamilton, baby.
That's right.
We're actually doing 2 Hamilton episodes. We've got a villain therapy for Aaron Burr coming at you as well. But this is all about healing from infidelity, which is a specialty of mine. Helping couples heal from infidelity is one of my areas of specialty. I've helped hundreds of couples do it by this point, and I want to share with you some of those key principles through the lens of Alexander and Eliza.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Angelica, tell this man John Adams spends the summer with his family.
Angelica, tell my wife John Adams doesn't have a real job anyway.
Okay.
Love how funny this show is.
Afraid I cannot join
We're going to talk a little more than usual because music will get dinged, guys.
Yeah, copyright issues. It's bad.
Take a break.
You know I have to get
But this is exemplary of something that happens throughout this whole story and real history, as it so happens. Hamilton's greatest strength is also his greatest weakness, his Achilles heel, his obsession with his legacy and his work.
He can't stop working.
Can't stop working. Come spend time with your family. Take a break and come with us. And he loves them. And he adores his wife. But the hubris of how important am I, how important is my work, and what are my priorities is going to put him in a precarious position here.
I have to get my plan through Congress. I can't stop till I get this plan through Congress.
And we see this earlier with Philip's birthday. We see this in the war when Eliza's like, I had you called home because you would just fight till the war was done, but you deserve a chance to meet your son, because Alexander wouldn't have come home. As much as he loves his family, as much as he wants to meet his son,
He is driven.
he gets his laser focus. And neither of us know what this is like.
No. I have no idea what that could possibly be like. I've never once neglected things because I was laser focused on doing my job.
You sit on a throne of lies.
So how does your family, I know you're a devoted husband, devoted father, and when you're here, you're here. But I also know that when you're on set, you just kind of disappear.
I stop existing.
Yeah.
It's been tough. The sort of good news, bad news of that is, since I've had kids, I have very rarely been on sort of long projects. It's looking like that might be a possibility in the near future, which would be great for my career. We're figuring out how that's going to work for our family. But also, Megan knew what I was
When she
when
picked you up.
she married me. We dated for about a year, and that year was the year that I was making my first feature film.
Yeah.
So she knew that it was all consuming, and like I would check in for 5 or 10 minutes some days
Yeah.
Like I'd go over to her apartment and be like, well, I'm exhausted. Today was horrible. Here's why. Anyway, how are you? All right.
It's important to have a plan and not just assume, well, we love each other, so it'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Because that's what Alexander does. He's like, no, we're solid. Eliza and I are rock solid. But you have to have a plan for how are we going to stay in contact, and also how are we going to give each other grace during these periods where this is what it is.
Sure.
In Alexander's case, he adores his wife and he's devoted to her, and he's not some Lothario who's out looking to cheat when she's away. At the same time, almost everybody I've ever had in my office, I've had hundreds of couples, all but one, the cheating happened by somebody who said, I never thought that I would do something like this.
Right.
I didn't think I was capable of this. This
So there was
isn't me.
one who planned?
No, there was one dude who's like, oh yeah, this is always who I've been.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun.
gross.
I told his wife, I'm like, you should just...
This isn't going to get
Yeah.
fixed.
No, thank you.
Have you seen our cinema therapy website?
It was so easy to build and customize our site using Squarespace.
We found a template that worked really well as a starting point for us.
From one of the many professionally designed templates that Squarespace offers.
And then it was so easy to customize.
With intuitive drag and drop editing and awesome visual designs.
As awesome as... Wait for it.
What?
I'm willing to wait for it.
Squarespace SEO tools will help you get discovered fast.
As fast as the winds just outside the eye of a hurricane?
Every website is optimized to be indexed with an auto-generated sitemap, meta descriptions, and more.
So your site will show up more often on search engines and reach more of your ideal audience or customers.
Click boom. Squarespace Domains also makes it easy for you to find the best site names for your website at one all-inclusive price.
No hidden fees or add-ons required. You don't even have to keep the receipts.
How are you supposed to say no to this? You don't know how to say no to this. And every Squarespace domain comes with advanced privacy and security tools.
Your site will even be safe from King George.
I don't think he attacks websites, but sure.
So whether you need to build a website to promote your growing law practice,
Or to publish your 85 essays defending the Constitution.
or for the new orphanage that you just started.
The orphanage. Squarespace will work for you.
And you won't have to spend months non-stop building a website.
Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch,
Go to squarespace.com/cinematherapy and use code cinematherapy to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Squarespace, do not throw away your shot.
Our producer brought this up, that he might be pulling away because he's worried about the flirtation with Angelica that's always been an undercurrent.
Yeah,
And he's like, if we all go up to the lake,
something could happen.
something could happen. So maybe I'm going to stay a little safer and I'm just going to focus on my work.
And it's safer flirting with Angelica as they do when she's across the ocean.
Yeah, writing letters 3,000 miles apart when it's 6 weeks by a boat that might sink.
Yeah, well, and they also both adore Eliza and would be devastated if they hurt her.
Sure.
But they've always had this thing. But by neglecting his family and not putting them first, Alexander puts himself in a precarious situation.
There's trouble in the air. You can smell it. And Alexander's by himself. I'll let him tell it.
I hadn't slept in a week. I was weak, I was awake. You've never seen a bastard orphan more in need of a break. Longing for Angelica, missing my wife. That's when Miss Mariah Reynolds walked
So,
into
I'm lonely, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm exhausted.
That's a great recipe
It's a
for good
great
decisions,
combination.
right?
Well, something the Gottmans talk about is called the glacial cascade into infidelity. It's recognizing it doesn't happen all at once, it happens step by step. How does a person who loves their partner and is devoted get in this mess in the first place? And you have to identify what went awry. Now, obviously, this is a scheme.
Yeah.
away. She lived a block away.
Yeah, this is, like, if it hadn't actually happened historically, you wouldn't believe it. Because it's so out there.
But she's seducing him for an extortion plot. But he also crosses the line.
That's when I began to pray, Lord, show me how to say no to this.
Say no to what? She hasn't asked you anything yet.
But my God,
He knows what's coming. He's really smart.
Also, Merry Christmas.
in hell, yes.
Look at these colors. So the issue,
In my mind, I'm trying.
in his case, when we talk about the glacial cascade, he identifies, I'm stressed, I'm overworked, I miss my wife so I feel lonely. Also, there's a lot of ego in Alexander.
Sure.
So for this young, attractive woman to throw herself at him,
He's kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense.
But it feeds into his need for validation, his need for recognition. This is something he's needed his whole life, is people to tell him he's enough and to see his worth.
I am not throwing away my shot!
A lot of times when people cheat, there's a component of that of, this person made me feel wanted. They made me feel attractive. Now, this is an important place to say, there's no excuse for infidelity. There's none. Because you could say, well, I cheated because I was tired, I was overworked, I was stressed, I missed my wife, I was lonely.
Yeah, reasons are not excuses.
Exactly. And the thing is, cheating is, here's the line, you choose to step over it.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff before the line could be completely valid. You could still choose to handle it a different way. Alexander, overworked, tired, stressed, misses his wife. Could take a nap, delegate, take a week off and go hang out with his wife.
Sure.
He could do all of these things to handle that stress ball that's there. And instead, he allows this to happen. There is no healing from infidelity if the person who cheated is making excuses and not taking full ownership for, again, crossing the line. Everything before the line could be created together in tandem with your partner. We had problems, things, whatever. But crossing the line is on you. And you have to start with that basic accountability.
Yeah.
Or there's no possible way to salvage anything.
You don't even know what you're asking me to confess. You have nothing.
They think they're gonna
tell you anything.
bust him on stealing and treason, stealing from government funds.
Yeah.
The law, do you promise not to tell another soul what you saw?
No one else was in the room where it happened.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
I'll prove to you I'm not a thief. I'm just an adulterer. Mucho mejor.
Yeah. Again, Hamilton's downfall is his
And in a prosperous enough
hubris about his intellect.
in the pockets of people like me down on their luck. You see, that was my wife who you decided. Wow.
Daveed Diggs is a murderer. He's so damn good.
Extorted me for resorted to
Like, out of all the big laughs in the show, he gets half of them.
wounded my prospects, but my papers are orderly. As you can see, I kept a record of every check in my checkered history. Check it again against your list and see consistency. I never spent a cent that wasn't mine. You sent the dogs after my sense, that's fine. Yes, I have reasons for shame, but I have not committed treason and sullied my good name. As you can see, I have done nothing to provoke legal action. Are my answers to your satisfaction?
So, quite defensive because they're sniffing around.
My God. Daveed Diggs again.
So,
The people won't know what we know.
Burr, how do I know you won't use this against me the next time we go toe-to-toe?
Alexander, rumors only grow. And we both know what we know.
Like, you got something on me, bro. You know that my daughter is illegitimate.
Yep.
That I had with a married woman, so.
What do you mean?
She's married.
I see.
She's married to a British officer.
Oh,
I think with Hamilton and Burr, who have such an interesting relationship because
They're frenemies.
because they're definitely frenemies.
Here's an itemized list of 30 years of disagreements.
Sweet Jesus.
Burr, in many ways, dislikes Hamilton, was eager to like take him down because Hamilton's got too much power and this is a way to get to him. At the same time, Hamilton has kept Burr's secret all these years.
Yeah.
And Burr, his honor won't allow him to do anything but the same.
Right.
Like, if I bring you down, it's not going to be this way.
Right. I am going to try to bring you down because I married Burr.
Aaron Burr, sir.
But you don't need to worry about me spilling this secret.
Yeah.
Hamilton, extremely defensive. He's like a cornered animal. Just like he talks about riding his way out, right? He can also talk his way out. Hamilton's great at getting out of these situations, but the thing is, sooner or later it catches up to you. And that's the issue with infidelity, is you can only keep it hidden so long.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. And a lot of people think, well, I can keep it a secret forever. But you live in terror.
Even if you do manage to keep the secret, okay, you cheated and you know, whatever, and no one ever finds out, you still know.
Yeah.
And you know inside of yourself that you lack integrity.
And the only way to regain your integrity is to come clean, which Hamilton does. Great song. You know, I wrote my way out. The only problem is it's not just about him. He is continually focused on, what do others think of me? How can I control the narrative, because this is the legacy that I'm building for myself. And once again, Eliza is second or third priority. His family is second or third priority, which is how he got into this mess in the first place.
Right.
The whole reason he succumbed to the seduction is because he was thinking of himself. He was thinking of his own stress, his own loneliness. He was also thinking about his own ego, his own pleasure. It's not that he doesn't care about others. It's that others don't come before him.
It's that he cares about them less
Right.
than his own legacy.
Which is why Eliza is pissed.
I'm erasing myself from
It's just
the night.
dense with bangers.
Future historians wonder how Eliza reacted when you broke
She's protecting herself here.
her heart. You have torn it all up.
You haven't protected me, so I'm gonna protect myself. Nobody gets to know what I think. Nobody gets to know what I feel. Nobody gets to know what my responses are. And she said just a little bit ago in the song, you're obsessed with your legacy. You're obsessed with how people perceive you. And she goes, you.
My heart, the world has no place in our bed. They don't get to know what I said. I'm burning the memories, burning the letters that might have redeemed you. You forfeit all rights to my heart. You forfeit the place in our bed.
Okay.
You'll sleep in your office instead with only the memories of
Let's just think about what Philippa Sue is doing right here. She is absolutely crushing an incredible song,
Yeah.
delivering an immaculate emotional performance while not going so far into it that she starts getting snotty
Yeah.
and like ruining her voice. And she's playing with live fire.
Right.
And doing all of that while posing and moving like an 18th century person would.
Yeah.
That is like 6 layers of shit that she has to do all at the same time, and she's doing all of it
Yeah.
flawlessly.
Yep.
This is why Broadway stars are more talented than anyone on earth.
You know, we talk about every time you're angry, you're actually something else, right? So obviously she's furious,
Of course.
but she's devastated because she gave her heart and her soul to this man all these years, all this time, all this energy, all this commitment.
all these letters that he wrote her, were they lies?
Right.
What's true?
And so she is deeply, deeply hurt, and she's humiliated,
Yeah.
and she's afraid. And what is amazing about this performance is she captures all of that. It's not just anger. As she contains it, you sense the pain.
Right.
You sense the hurt. It's not just righteous fury. And that's why, as an audience member, your heart just breaks for her. If it was anger, the audience would feel like, yeah, hell yeah, give it to him. He sucks. He deserves to burn. And instead, you feel that.
Yeah.
But you also feel great compassion for this woman who this is what's become of her life, and none of it is her fault.
Right. You know, like that classic Shakespearean tragedy, Love Actually.
Oh, gosh.
No! God, please, no!
The Emma Thompson story is actually really good. And I don't know if you remember, there's the part where she finally understands the betrayal and she says, you've made a fool of me. You've made my life foolish.
Yeah.
And that is the exact emotion that we're getting right here.
We're going to get into It's Quiet Uptown. I'm going to talk about what the Gottmans actually taught me and what I teach people for how to heal from infidelity. It comes down to 3 phases: atonement, attunement, and attachment. But we'll get into it in a second.
Look at where we are. Look at where we started. I know I don't deserve you, Eliza.
Okay.
But hear me out. That would be enough.
There's catchier songs,
I
but
could spare his life.
this song absolutely breaks me.
Yep.
If I could trade,
And it's all in Manuel Miranda's performance.
he'd be standing.
Because not only have they lost so much to his infidelity, their son dies defending his honor.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to know the challenges we're facing. I know there's no replacing what we've lost. And you need time,
This line right here.
but I'm not afraid. I know who I married. Just let me stay here by your side. That would be enough.
I love how Philippa Sue, very quietly and very small, she's playing it small, but
Eliza, do you like it uptown?
she gives you that his words have finally gotten through to her just the tiniest bit.
Look around, Eliza.
And there's something that they're doing here that's so hard to do. Like, you've all cried before, I assume. When you cry, obviously your eyes water and you tear up, but you also, your mucous membranes in your sinuses produce more mucus.
Yeah.
Right? This is just part of it. You get snotty.
Can I have a hug, Brian?
Right? Sometimes it runs, sometimes whatever. But
Hard
what
to
it
sing.
always does, it always drips down your throat.
Yeah.
And so if you have to cry, sing, you can't actually cry. But if you're a good actor, you have to feel the emotion that you're crying, and you have to show it, and you have to get that quaver in your voice, but you can't actually let yourself tear up and snot, because that will ruin your voice. Because you still have to project to the back row of the audience.
Yeah.
Because you're on Broadway, damn it, and this is what you've been dreaming about since you were 6. So you've got to do it. Sorry, I'm getting weird. But like what Lin-Manuel Miranda is doing here, what Philippa Sue does, is absolutely incredible. They are cry singing at such a high level. Like, I am in awe of these people as performers. Setting aside, Lin-Manuel Miranda is maybe the greatest songwriter of all time. I don't know.
Definitely of his generation.
Unreal talent. And then, oh, by the way, I'm also a kick-ass performer. Blah.
Prodigious is the word that I would use.
And to his songwriting credit, Alexander is using Eliza's themes and lyrics here.
Oh, when it's like, look around, look around.
Look around.
That would be enough.
That would be enough. All of this stuff. He's adopting her stuff. He's mirroring her language, which I'm sure you're going to get into.
Well, what she's always told him is, I just need you. Like, you need a legacy. You need to be remembered in history. I just need you in our family, and it's enough. And Alexander, for the longest time, didn't see it, couldn't get there himself. And now he realizes now that he's lost his son and he's on the verge of losing his wife. It really is enough. They are the most important thing. I don't need...
That is the legacy.
That is the legacy, and I'm about to lose it.
Yeah.
And so he leads with this accountability where he says, I know I don't deserve you. So first of all, it's a great way to open if you've cheated on your partner. Honestly, start
Strong
there.
open.
Start there. I love the lyric they are going through the unimaginable, because any relationship that's trying to come back from infidelity and now a death of a child, they come to therapy and it feels like a Hail Mary.
Oh, it feels unimaginable. Like, oh, there's no way to salvage this. Like, you
Right.
have cheated, you have betrayed the sacred trust that we have given to each other, right?
There's a reason they call it betrayal trauma. Yeah. I thought my life was safe and secure, my relationship was safe and secure, and it wasn't, and now that's gone. It registers psychologically and physiologically like a trauma, which is also why sometimes couples in this situation need to separate. They say, I don't want to separate because that's the first step to divorce. Like, no, you are actually your partner's trauma trigger. They need space to recover.
They need to not see your face and think, where was that guy?
Right. And to rewire what their brain associates you with. So the atonement phase of healing from infidelity, obviously this is much deeper in therapy. I can only skim the surface here. But the big beats are the person who cheated has to be fully accountable. The affair has to be 100% over. They cannot minimize, justify, rationalize, or excuse their behavior. And they cannot say, well, I said I was sorry and I stopped, so now you just need to forgive and get over it. They need to sit with the pain and the hurt and the anger that they have caused. And the biggest obstacle for a lot of people is pride. A lot of people will not summon the humility to sit with the thing they're most ashamed of, and instead of running from it, allow the person who is hurt to express all of that.
Right.
I was in graduate school and I was helping a couple who infidelity.
Sure.
And the husband was saying, I said I was sorry and I stopped, so you need to just forgive me now. And I remember my professor, he said to me something I'll never forget. He says, until his remorse equals the amount of pain he's caused, she will not be able to let it go.
Right.
Because she will believe it's not as big a deal to him and therefore it could happen again.
Right.
And what I love from this scene is, one, we see Alexander as an anguish, and they're not a vindictive, good, he deserves, but like, if he's going to change, he has to feel it. And two, for the very first time, he is only considering her feelings and how this has affected her.
Yes.
Which means for the first time, he's actually loving her more than himself. And it's that little kernel of safety that allows and makes this moment possible.
Oh, this is gonna absolutely annihilate me.
We push away what we can never understand. We push away the unimaginable. They are standing in the garden. Alexander by Eliza's side. She takes his hand. It's quiet uptown.
Oh gosh.
Can you imagine?
Lin-Manuel just breaks me every time I watch this.
Can you imagine? If you see him in the street, walking by your side, talking
That
by your side.
trying to hold it back, like trying to hold back tears, makes an audience cry more than crying. But the fact that he tries so hard to hold it back and then he can't.
She gives him grace, compassion, and understanding because even though he's the one who screwed up, he's the one who devastated, he deserves to be dumped. Honestly, I always tell people, if someone cheated on you and you want to be done, 100% justified. I'm not going to try and convince you to stay together if that's not what you want. If it's because it's not safe, right? But some couples want to choose to fight for it, want to stay together, and the only way that ever works, he cannot expect her to give him grace and compassion and forgiveness. He has to start by repairing what he did as best he can, by focusing on the pain he caused, how it affected her, and what he's going to do different so that she can feel safe again. The fact that she extends forgiveness and grace is a gift. It is not something he deserves, nor is it something he's entitled to, which is also what makes, to your point, Lin-Manuel Miranda's performance so beautiful. You can see that he knows that.
Yes.
I don't deserve this, but it's being extended anyway. And the release of the guilt and the shame to accept the love, oh my gosh, it's... Couples can come back from infidelity if they both choose to, but it requires a level of humility and accountability and grace and forgiveness and compassion and change that not everybody chooses or is capable of, and that's okay, especially on the part of the person who was betrayed. But when couples come back from it, they build something stronger. It's based on those principles. And so atonement is reconciling and paying for a transgression. That's the meaning of that word. Used in a psychological sense, it's how do I repair so that my partner feels safe? And we get into attunement, which is fixing the relationship itself, even beyond the affair. Like what were the chinks in the armor that made all this possible?
Yeah,
right?
The affair happened here. What is all of this stuff that we can correct before we got to that?
It's like if the affair hadn't happened but we were struggling, what would we be working on then? That's the attunement phase. And then the attachment phase is, we're solid, how do we stay solid? How do we keep this from ever happening? What are the consequences if it does? Which is, by the way, if it ever does happen, the consequences be done. Because no one should have to go through that ever, but especially more than once.
Yeah, especially not twice.
It's much deeper than I can touch on here, but I've always wanted to put this out into the world because Hamilton is such a perfect vessel for that message for the Gottman's research. If you have been through this and are going through this, whether you stay together or not, healing is possible if you choose the path that leads there. And it's always accountability, it's always forgiveness, it's always empathy. But forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. Right. You can forgive to let go of those hurt feelings, and you can forgive. I like to say it's not a one-time thing. It's what you do every time the pain comes up.
It's a practice. And it's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of whether you want to forgive the other person or not, or if they deserve it, and they may not, you need to do it for yourself or you'll poison yourself.
Right. Forgiveness is removing the poison, or it's clearing the weeds from your own garden. Trust, though, has to be earned. 100%. And you can forgive somebody and never talk to them again. Question for you, if you've been through something like this, how did you handle it? What helped you in the process of healing? What advice do you have that others can read in the comments that will be helpful? And also just what are your thoughts on this arc in Hamilton? Does it hit the spot for you? Do you think she should have just dumped his ass? Let us know in the comments below.
I dump your ass.
If you like Hamilton half as much as we do, give us a like. There's a little button down there. Also hit subscribe, click the bell, set it to all, and you'll get notifications every time we post a new episode. So until next time,
there's a million episodes of Hamilton we haven't done.
Just you wait, just you wait, and don't cheat.
Shout out and thank you to our patrons over on Patreon who get extended commercial-free director's cuts of our episodes before they drop on YouTube. Folks like
Alexandra,
Shannon Barsar,
Petsa,
Liz Andrews,
and Jordan Jenkins,
Leroy's brother. And happy 4th of July! Our country's kind of a dumpster fire right now.
But it won't be forever. Vote for Burr!